Hi everyone, my name's Dory and I am filming my portion of the cultural diversity presentation. I'm on vacation with my family and could not make it to class tonight. So the portion that I will be presenting to you will be background facts and some statistics about immigration from El Salvador to the United States. So my group mates, Lauren and Devin, will be or may have already shown you a map of Central America. I think it's important to understand where El Salvador is in relation to the United States so that you can have a better understanding of the immigration patterns and the reasons why we have many immigrants coming to the United States from this area of the world. So my information is coming directly from a website called migrationpolicy.org, and they definitely run through a lot of statistics and analyze the patterns and reasons for migration from various regions of the world. Now, it's very interesting because they did note that over the past several years, immigration from Central America to the United States has gained a lot of attention. It's definitely a hot topic. Changes in immigration policy, are immigrants coming legally or illegally? Should immigrants that are currently in the country be deported or figuring out those reasons why they should be deported, if they should be deported. So this is definitely a hot topic, and as you're going to see, there are significant numbers of not only unaccompanied children, but whole family units coming from Central America, El Salvador included, to the United States. So we will more than likely have students from this area of the world find themselves in our classrooms. So it's important that we understand the cultural differences that we're going to encounter when we work with these students. So what I'm going to be doing is run you through a brief timeline of push-pull factors, basically reasons why there are so many immigrants coming from El Salvador and the surrounding regions to the United States. And I'm going to start with about the 1980s and then run up till present day. So starting with the 1980s, there was civil war and political instability overall that were driving Salvadorians to the United States, driving them northward to the United States. And during this time, during the 1980s, the population from this region living in the United States more than tripled. So there were definitely significant factors that was pushing families from El Salvador to the United States. Now, when we get to the early 1990s, we definitely see an end to significant political conflicts, although the political volatility has never truly ended in that region of the world. That was kind of a turning point in terms of political conflicts. So the early 1990s, even though that volatility is still there, you still see an upsurge in migration from El Salvador to the United States, mainly due to family unification. So you're seeing families reuniting, okay, after possible separation during the 1980s for those immigration reasons. And then you also have natural disasters that are occurring. So after a series of natural disasters, you have Salvadorans, Hondurans, and Nicaraguans that were offered something called temporary protected status, also known as TPS, from the United States. So this was protection against deportation, as well as eligibility for work authorization in the United States, due to these natural disasters that they experienced in their home countries. So this TPS is actually still in place, and it was renewed up until March 2018 for El Salvador specifically. So this is definitely something that is still a current factor impacting migration from El Salvador to the United States. Now, in 2015, just to give you an idea of numbers, you have 3.4 million Central Americans that are residing in the United States, which accounts for 8% of the 43.3 million immigrants in the U.S. overall. And 85% of those Central Americans in the United States were from what we call the Northern Triangle. And the Northern Triangle includes El Salvador and the neighboring countries, Guatemala and Honduras. So the numbers are there. There are significant numbers of families coming from this region of the world to the United States for various reasons. Currently, a lot of it is, like I said, political instability and poverty. So the region actually continues to suffer from poor, not only political, but socioeconomic conditions. And not only does that include extreme poverty, but El Salvador has some of the world's highest homicide rates and a general widespread experience of gang violence as well. So all of these factors really do continue to fuel immigration from El Salvador and the surrounding region to the U.S. Now, we have many families and unaccompanied children that end up at the United States-Mexico border from the Northern Triangle, from that region. In 2016 alone, U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported that they intercepted 46,900 unaccompanied children and over 70,400 family units from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras that were arriving at the border. So again, the numbers are there, and they're pretty significant. Now, just to give you an idea too, of the numbers that are coming to the United States in general, of the 4.1 million international immigrants from Central America, so globally there are 4.1 million immigrants from this region, you have 78% that are residing in the United States. So the majority are coming here. Now, I know a lot of the information that I gathered is regionally or from that Northern Triangle. Now, in 2015, just to give you specifics about El Salvador accounts for 40% of those Central American immigrants in the United States. So, again, that is a significant amount of the Central American immigrants in general that are coming to the United States. In terms of our area specifically in New York, you're going to see, or you may have already seen, a chart that is titled Top Concentrations by Metro Area for the Foreign-Born from Central America. The New York and New Jersey area is second only to the Los Angeles area in terms of where immigrants from Central America are going within the United States. So, again, we have a large percentage of these immigrants coming to our area of the country. So in conclusion, there are still many factors that are fueling immigration from Central America to the United States. So this issue is not going away. It's not dying down. And we'll more than likely have students from this region of the world in our classrooms. So it becomes extremely important as educators to have an understanding of these cultural differences and how it impacts these students' experiences in the classrooms. And our preparation, our lesson planning, our differentiation needs to adjust accordingly and appropriately. So my group mates will be running you through those key factors, those important pieces of the Salvadorian culture. And our hope is that you walk away with a better understanding of how to teach or the best practices to teach students from this area of the world. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you next week. Bye.